Hello again everyone, Joanne with StampingInTheValley.com, and welcome to my craft room. Here is one of the cards we're going to be making this weekend. I checked my back order report and the daisy punch is not on it. That means that you guys can order it. This has been like the biggest selling punch in 5 years is what it said on my newsletter for, with Stampin' Up. So I thought that I would quickly do a little card for you with this absolutely adorable punch. I used Bermuda Bay and Daffodil Delight and just made a thank you card. Of course, you can use any sentiment you want. So let's start with our card base, which is a thick whisper white. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So this time we'll open it this way. And my first layer I did in our Stars Embossing folder right here. This is new, the Stars Embossing folder. Very nice little background. And this is Bermuda Bay. It's 4 1/4 by 4, or 5 1/4 by 4. That's our first layer. I'm just going to take my snail, put it right there on the edge, giving even pressure to my snail holder. This way I lay down the full 1/4 inch, and this, because it's textured, I am going to go in the middle just a couple of times, okay? But if you give even pressure, you get the full 1/4 inch of adhesive right down on the cardstock. So I'm going to bring my base in and put this down. There's an 1/8 inch border all the way around. And the way you get that is cutting back your cardstock 1/4 inch each time you make a layer. It's that simple. So I adhered that down, just like that. Let's move that aside. I want to talk about our little element here. I already stamped our thank you, and I cut these out. This is 1 inch by, I can't remember, 1 inch by 4 inches. This is a Daffodil Delight at 1 1/4 by 4. And this is a Whisper White piece at 1 inch by 4. I just stamped my thank you on it, and I wanted to show you with our triple banner punch how I flag the ends. I turn it over, and I take what I want flagged. I just place it in there, not worrying about the size on the other side. Okay, let me get right into camera here. Watch your points right here, the tip of the card, okay, the very ends. Line it up, kind of center it. You just kind of got to look at it a little bit, and it is centered nicely. Just line up the edges, and if you don't get it the first time, you can go back in with a second punch. It's okay. So I want to look at those edges, and then I just want to punch it, and I get, whoops, see, I missed it right here. Okay, so I'm going to go back in. This side is good, so I'm just going to line that up, and I'm going to get that one straight on that edge, on that point right in there. And I'm going to punch it out, and now it's perfect. Okay? Right there. So let's do the same thing to the Daffodil Delight piece. I place it in there and put the width of it here at the angle of the punch. I hope I'm explaining that well enough, but I know you can see what I'm doing. So I put that right there on those edges, on that angle, and just punch. And this one came out perfect the first time. Okay? So with this, I'm going to tombow this down. Well, I want to back this up a little bit because I want it to look like a border. So right here where I'm over a little bit, I'm going to trim. Just like that. So that gives me a nice little 1/4 or 1/8 inch border around a little thank you embellishment. So now let me take this and put it down with some Tombow. So we'll make this element. before I made this video, I made sure I looked at I just got off the computer, just the minute that I start, like 30 seconds before I started this video, and I made sure that it did not say that the daisy punch was on back order. So, but it is the truth. They did publish it that it's been the best-selling punch in 5 years. So I think that's fantastic. Okay, so I just adhered that down, just like that. And now I want to show you how to make this little bow. I'm using the mini chevron ribbon, and this is in Bermuda Bay. I use my 10-second bow maker. I'm a big advocate of this 10-second bow maker. You have no idea. You save ribbon, you save twine, you can work right off the spool. It gives you a perfect product every single time. Perfect bow element. I love it. So then I just do that and pick it up, and then as short or as long as I want to keep my tails, I just go ahead and trim. And this is all that we wasted from making that bow. That's pretty good. Okay, move that aside. I use that all the time. Wind that up. Here's our little bow. Isn't that adorable? Now we want to punch our daisies. Let me move our stuff out of the way here. I have my Bermuda Bay open, and I'm going to bring in, and we're using the Daisy Delight stamp set that has the daisy on it and that thank you. I love that thank you. Love that font on that thank you. I'm going to bring in my foam pad because we are working with the photopolymers stamp sets. This is a photopolymer where you could see through it. I have my Bermuda Bay open. Now with this punch, you want to make sure you're north and south and east and west. That's the best way that I can describe it, okay? Watch your petals here. You have to be north and south and east and west so that it aligns with your punch. And you save paper that way. So I stamp. Isn't that beautiful? I want 3 of them. I love this punch. I really do. I love the stamp set. I love the punch. I haven't done much with it because it went on back order. And, you know, as much as I wanted to play with it, I didn't. And, you know, you could always order it back order, but it got to the point where you weren't even allowed to order it there for a little bit. And then it came back in, and the back order, you know, kind of got worked out. And so, well, now that one I didn't stamp very well right there. I'm going to do another one right over here. So now I just looked at the back order report. Okay, that's perfect. Then I take the little center here, this little, there's 2 center, one's a solid and one, you know, because this is like 2-step stamping. I've done some other, another card with this right here, and it was absolutely beautiful. I love that card. But this is like a 2-step stamping, but I'm just going to use this right here. You could use like, let's just say a crumb cake maybe, and then the Daffodil Delight on top of it to make it like a brown and a yellow. But I just want to use the yellow because it's still summer. Oh, I'm going to miss it. I've really enjoyed this summer. And right there. Okay, just to make the middles. Now, let's close up the ink. Take that away. Let's move our punch in. And let me show you what I meant. It's north to south, east to west, okay? And you will be able to line these up nicely. Just let that little white border. What I do is I squeeze my punch down And then I kind of move it around to get it exactly where I want and give it a squeeze. So I've kind of got it just a little bit squeezed down, but I'm still able to move the paper, not making any indentions in the paper either. Not squeezing it that hard. So I get it right where I want it. If you have trouble getting the punch out of the paper, move it sideways. I find that I saw that on Facebook, I think, on somebody doing something on Facebook with it, and she said move it sideways, and when I do that, it just slides right out. It is a little bit more difficult on the DSP because the DSP is thinner, but it's very workable if you slide it sideways. Okay. Let me bring this in, get all of our pretties here. Let's see. One I want down with Tombow, two I want with dimensionals. So I'm just going to add that. And then what I suggest on the back of your bow is just to add a couple of glue dots. Just push them right into the fabric. They'll stick nicely, and it'll allow your bow to stick nicely on your card. Peel those little backings off. Okay, let's bring our card base in and our thank you. This I'm going to put down with Tombow. Okay, and I want to put it just on a little angle. And remember, we made this element together. We are almost done with this card. I'm going to bring our bow in. I left these tails a little bit longer because this one I wanted to put right up in the corner here. Actually, what I'm going to do is take one of these flowers that's up on the dimensional, put this down first, making sure that it does not hang off of your card, so you could get it, the petals, make sure it doesn't hang off, make sure it's just even so that you could get it in the envelope. Then put your bow down. So the flower first, the daisy first, just on this side right here, and then put your bow down, and then everything will stay in the dimension of the card so that it'll fit in your envelope properly. Now this one I put down with Tombow, and I wanted to glue even the petals down on this one. I wanted flat. Good. So I just slip this one under this one. And again, watch where it is and don't let it go off of even the white, okay? Turn it a little bit. Right there. Okay? So you have the dimension of one being behind the other there. And now this one, oh, we're done with the card. Here we go. And just stick that one on. Thanks so much for watching my video and crafting with me today. Of course, this weekend there'll be more videos. Remember, in the month of August, if you order $25 in product from me, these are the 2 free card kits for the month. Please watch the video at the end. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Thanks for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I just hit 2,000. That was a big milestone for me. I do appreciate everyone that watches. And thanks again to all my customers who order from me. So remember, the Daisy Punch is now off of back order. These are our cards. And it bundles with the Daisy Delight stamp set. Thanks again for watching, and happy crafting.